there, lovely! In this video, we're gonna give you model answers and vocabulary about languages, a recent IELTS speaking part 1 topic. I'm Maria.
And my name is Rory, and we're here to help prepare you for IELTS speaking and have a little bit of fun along the way.
Hi, and I'm Richard.
NANI?
Yes, there are 3 of us today, Rory. Richard is a teacher on italki, a language learning platform for personalized one-on-one classes with certified teachers. Many of them focus on IELTS preparation. And in this episode, Richard is answering questions. Not you, Rory, sorry.
Aww.
Come on, Rory, the episode is about languages. How many languages do you speak, huh?
Well, English. And I'm learning Russian. That's 2.
And Richard, how many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak English, I speak French to a really high level, an advanced level. I'd say my Italian's intermediate, and my Russian is a kind of beginner level. That's 4.
So yeah, we could use some help.
Just a little bit.
Richard, are you ready to talk about languages?
I certainly am.
Sorry, dear listener, I don't have a dad joke, but I have Richard for you today, okay? Rory is just like, he's just Rory, so.
I'm just a joke unto myself.
What foreign languages have you studied?
I studied German at school and learned French when I moved there. I've tried a few over the years. I decided to take up Spanish a couple of years ago, but gave up fairly quickly. I'm currently learning Italian and getting on pretty well with it.
We can say I studied German or I learned German. Richard also told us I decided to take up Spanish. Take up.
Like to start doing something. So, take up a hobby, take up a language.
I decided to take up Italian last year. I decided to start learning Italian. But I gave up fairly quickly. I gave up. I stopped. Italian? No. So I gave up fairly quickly. Rather quickly, quite quickly. Okay?
But it doesn't mean a little bit quickly. It means very quickly. Which is funny because it looks like it's taking a long time, but it's not.
If you're learning a language now, you say, I'm currently learning Italian. I'm learning English now. And I'm getting on pretty well with it. So I'm getting on pretty well with it. It's doing well. I'm learning it and it's all fine. Yeah. For example, Rory, how's your Russian?
Well, I would say that, like Richard, I'm getting on pretty great with it, to be honest. It's progressing in leaps and bounds, which means it's going really well, making lots of progress. Oh, although, can I just check? Is getting on well with, is that a 3-part phrasal verb?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a multi-word phrasal verb.
If it's getting on well with the person, then it's like you like them and agree with them. So it's almost like you like and agree with the language too. You're working well together.
You see, dear listener, in this answer, we use 3 phrasal verbs. They are natural, they're informal, they are for band 9. And if you want more phrasal verbs,
then you need to check out our phrasal verbs course. You can find it at successwithielts.com/podcourses.
How did you learn those languages?
A little bit differently for each one. German had a lot of traditional classroom learning, with the teacher going through a lot of grammar rules. Not much of it stuck, hence my poor level nowadays. For French, I enrolled in a language school, which was really fun and interactive. For Italian, I've been using italki. You're really spoiled for choice with the range of teachers available on there.
italki. Rory, have you heard of italki?
Yes, you talked about it in the introduction. And Richard talked about it in his answers as well.
italki is a platform where you can find language tutors. There are thousands of certified teachers that can help you with pronunciation, IELTS preparation, grammar, speaking, writing, business English. You can find lessons for as low as $5. There's no monthly subscription. You just simply pay for each lesson.
And if you're interested in learning a language other than English, italki offers classes for over 150 languages. Simply choose the language you'd like to study, a teacher, and you are good to go.
Actually, I've also used italki once. I was preparing for some job interview or for some application, and I needed an experienced native speaker to proofread my text.
I assume this is before you met me.
Yes, Rory, yeah. So it was really convenient, right? And it's just like chop, 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 Rory, for example, is learning Russian, right, Rory?
Duh.
Why don't you find a Russian teacher on italki?
Sure. Let's go to the italki website, create an account, and click on Find a Teacher, and then select Russian. Ooh, look at all these other languages. I can also set my desired price by using this slider over here. There's a bunch of other filters that you can use to narrow down your search. Let's see who we have. Oh, I like Yulia. On a teacher's profile page, you can watch their introduction video and learn more about their teaching methods, experiences, qualifications, and read reviews from other students. Then we just click Book a Class. And a time that works for you. Use our promo code SUCCESS5 and get $5 extra when you spend your first $10.
The discount is only available for the first 50 people. So if you're interested, be quick.
Actually, it's 49 because I just signed up there.
How do we learn languages? For example, Richard told us that German had a lot of traditional classroom learning. Okay? So grammar rules, not talking, and how do we say it? German had a lot of traditional classroom learning. I enrolled in a language school, or I enrolled in a language center to have classes in a school, yeah? And I've been using italki, I've been using this website, I've been using this application to study English, for example. Rory, how long have you been studying Russian?
Oh, I've been studying Russian for about 8 years now, I think.
I've been studying, dear listener, present perfect continuous. A nice one is not much of it stuck.
So, if something sticks, in this case, then it remains, or it stays after you've learned it. If it doesn't, then you haven't learned it, or you haven't learned it enough for it to be sticking around in your mind. And sticking around sounds like a phrasal verb to me.
I'm really spoiled for choice. Or you can say, you are really spoiled for choice.
And if you're spoiled for choice, it just means that you have so many options, and they're all good. So it's kind of like, it's such a good situation that it's almost a bad thing. It's a bit of a strange sentence. I think it might actually be close to an idiom. What do you think?
I think so. It's idiomatic language. So how do we learn languages like apps, website, teachers, platforms, like films, podcasts? You are really spoiled for choice. Would you like to learn any more foreign languages?
Not just any foreign language. I think you need to have motivation for learning to stick. I learned French and Italian well as I lived in those countries, whereas my Spanish learning didn't go far as I had no real motivation to learn. It helps if you dive into the culture of the country as well.
You need to have a motivation for learning to stick. You see, this stick verb. Because learning should stick. You should remember everything you learn. So how to do this? You should have a motivation for learning to stick. If I say that my French learning didn't go far.
Well, if something doesn't go far in this sense, then it means that you haven't progressed a great deal in doing it. So, for example, I think in Richard's case, he started to study French, but it didn't continue because he didn't have a real reason to keep going.
If you dive into the culture of the country...
Well, that's just a really nice way, I think, of saying that you're immersed in it. You surround yourself with all of the culture because you're interested in it, and you start to learn things more easily this way.
So you can say you can immerse yourself in the language you are learning. Immerse yourself in English.
Or immerse yourself in Russian.
Or dive into Italian. Pizza, pasta, pizza, pasta, pizza. Do you know the song?
Well,
Pizza, pasta, pizza, pasta, pizza, pasta, pizza, pasta. Pizza, pasta. That was like a pizza, pasta break, dear listener. Are you ready to continue? Do you think it's difficult to learn a new language?
For sure, but the rewards make all the effort worth it. You need to keep at it, even when you feel like packing it in. But you will learn insights into a different culture, and it might even help you land that dream job. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Keep at it. So keep at the language you're learning. So if I keep at English,
then you continue to do it. If you keep at something, you carry on. Continue. Keep at it.
Sometimes I feel like packing it in.
Such a good expression. I love it. If you pack it in, then you quit. You stop doing what you were doing after you started, which is the only time you could stop it, really, but never mind.
Yeah, we've used already like I gave up Spanish, so I stopped studying Spanish. And also you can say, I felt like packing it in. Arrivederci, Spanish. Could you use it in a sentence? For example, about some of like one language.
One language that I've learned? Oh yeah, I started learning French again, but I packed it in pretty quickly because it was really boring. I'm very sorry, French listeners. It's a wonderful language, it's just not for me.
I packed it in. So it's kind of like you take French, you pack it, and you just, adieu.
En français.
Languages help you land that dream job. Land your dream job.
Land a job, so good. So if you land a job, you get the job, but it's like after you've put in a lot of effort. So it's not just about getting the job, it's I make the effort and I get this job, I land it. I think it's connected to the idea of landing a whale, which is what you used to do when you were whaling in the 18th century. They would land a whale or land a boat on the beach so that they could, finish the job.
So can I say, for example, now I'm learning English and it will help me to land my dream job?
Yes, I think nowadays it would only be used to, in terms of a job, to land a job. I can't think of anything else that you would land, really. A plane, of course, but that's a physical action, whereas landing a job is an abstract idea of getting the job after the effort.
Will you learn another language soon in the future?
Of course. The problem is there are too many to choose from. I've picked up a bit of Portuguese recently, so I'd like to dive deeper into that first. After that, I've had my eye on Piedmontese, which is a small language in northwest Italy. The challenge, as always, is finding the time.
I've picked up a bit of Portuguese. I learned some Portuguese. So to pick up languages, we can also say learn languages or pick them up. I picked up some English or I picked up some Chinese when I was traveling in China. Will you learn another language in the future? And you say, well, I've had my eye on Mongolian. I've had my eye on Welsh or Gaelic. The language that Rory's ancestors spoke. Was it Gaelic, Rory?
I think it's pronounced Gaelic, and I think it's called Gaelic in Ireland. This is very embarrassing. I have a cousin, hello Rena, who both speaks and teaches this language. And I'm pretty sure she gave me a small lecture once on the difference, and I think it's Gaelic in Ireland and Gaelic in Scotland. Sorry if I've got that mixed up, Rena. I'm going to hear about this on Instagram soon, if I have.
So I've had my eye on present perfect because it happened in the past, but now it has connection to the present. So I've had my eye on Chinese.
It's like I'm considering, or I've been considering doing this thing.
Or I've been considering learning Japanese. I've been considering Italian.
Not just for languages. I've been considering a holiday to Spain.
I've been considering buying our premium episodes. Yes, dear listener, we do have our premium episodes for you. Speaking part 2 and 3. And now we have fresh IELTS speaking topics. Describe your favorite athlete, like a famous athlete, or describe a park. Yeah, I know, and there are some topics in speaking part 2. The link is in the description. Do check them out, okay?
And if you liked Richard and you would like to study with him, then you can check out the link in the description as well.
Thank you so much for listening. Could you tell us in the comments what languages are you learning? Which languages would you like to learn in the future? What about English? Is it a difficult language for you? What is difficult in learning English? In the chat, in the comments below, okay?
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Pasta, pizza, pizza, pasta.